Hi friends, it's Hannah here, your Excel teacher from Sheet Leveler. And today I want to show you a really smart, modern way to write formulas in Excel. We're going to talk about something called the dot operator and also the trim range function. These are tools that help us stop relying on old habits, like dragging formulas down with the fill handle. They make our work cleaner, more dynamic, and a lot less error-prone. So grab your dataset and follow along, because by the end of this, you'll be writing smarter formulas that look after themselves. Example 1. Multiplying quantity by price. Let's start with something simple. Here I've got a table with quantity in one column and price in another. What we want is the total, quantity times price. The way most people do this is to type into the first row equals B2 times C2, and then drag that formula down the column with the fill handle. That works. But now I have 6 separate formulas. And that's not great. Why? Because it's not dynamic. If I add new rows, I'll have to remember to drag the formula down again. It's prone to error. If someone accidentally types over one of those formulas, Excel won't even warn me. And the more formulas I have, the harder it is to maintain. So instead, let's write one single formula that spills down automatically. If I write equals B2 colon B15 multiplied by C2 colon C15 and press enter, Excel spills the results down the rows. That's already better. Just one formula doing all the work. But look what happens. After the last used row, I get a bunch of little dashes. Those dashes are actually zeros, formatted to look like hyphens, and they're messy. So how do we fix that? Example 2. Trim range. Here's where the trim range function comes in. If I go back to my formula, and instead of typing just B2 to B15, I write equals trim range, open bracket, B2 colon, B15, close bracket, and do the same for column C. So now I've got equals trim range, open bracket, B2 colon B15, close bracket, multiplied by trim range, open bracket, C2 colon C15, close bracket. Press enter. And look at that. Excel trims away the blanks. And now my formula only includes the actual data. Even better. If I add a new row at the bottom, trim range automatically expands. No dragging required. And if someone tries to type over one of these spilled results, Excel throws a spill reference error, which is great because it immediately tells me that something is blocking the formula. That's modern Excel looking out for you. Now, a little extra detail here. Trim range actually has optional arguments. After your range, you can add a row trim mode. Do you want to trim the leading blanks, the trailing blanks, or both ends? And then a column trim mode. Again, leading, trailing, or both. If you leave these out, Excel assumes both by default. But it's good to know you've got that flexibility if you ever need it. Example 3. Dot operator. Now trim range works beautifully, but you'll notice I had to type it twice, once for each column. That feels a little long-winded. And this is where the dot operator comes in. The dot operator is a shortcut that trims off unused cells. If I go back to my formula and instead write equals B2 colon B15 dot multiplied by C2 colon C15 dot. That's literally me typing a dot right after the range. Press enter, and I get the exact same result as before. No extra zeros, no blanks, just neat totals. And the formula is much cleaner to read. Example 4. Whole columns. Now you might be wondering, instead of stopping at row 15, why not just select the entire column? Let's try that. If I write equals B colon B dot multiplied by C colon C dot and press enter, it looks like it mostly works. But now I've got 2 problems. At the top, I get a value error because of the header row. At the bottom, I see an extra product value hanging out where I don't want it. So how do we fix this? With the drop function. If I wrap my formula like this, equals drop, open bracket, b colon b dot multiplied by c colon c dot, comma 1, close bracket. That tells Excel, drop the first row, which in this case is the header. Press enter, and now my formula works beautifully. I've got a single dynamic formula that updates as I add data, ignores headers, and trims neatly to the used range. Example 5. Across rows with BYTOL. So far we've worked down columns, but we can also use these tools across rows. Let's say I have monthly sales data across several columns, and I want to sum each column. The old school way would be to write a sum formula, like equals sum, open bracket, B2 colon B7, close bracket. Then drag it across for each month. That's not dynamic. If I add more months, I'll have to update everything. Instead, let's use the BICOL function. If I write equals BICOL, open bracket, B2 colon H7 dot, comma, lambda, open bracket, X, comma, sum, open bracket, X, close bracket, close bracket, close bracket. And press enter. Excel sums each column automatically from just one formula. Now, sometimes when you try this on a larger range, you'll hit a spill error. Why? Because if you're starting from, say, column C, Excel can't spill results into columns A and B. Those are outside where the formula lives. That's when we can use the dot operator again to trim unused parts, or wrap the whole thing in drop to remove unwanted headers. For example, equals drop, open bracket, BICOL, open bracket, B2 colon H7 dot, comma, lambda, open bracket, X, sum, open bracket, X, close bracket, close bracket, close bracket, comma, 1, close bracket. That tells Excel, run BICOL across the whole range, but drop the first row. And now we have neat, dynamic sums. No dragging required. So let's recap. TRIMRANGE trims your ranges to the last used cell, keeping formulas neat and dynamic. The dot operator is a shorthand for trimming just the leading or trailing blanks. And the drop function helps remove headers or other unwanted cells when using full rows or columns. When you combine these tools, you get powerful single-cell formulas that automatically expand, prevent errors, and make your work much easier to maintain. No more dragging formulas, no more hidden mistakes, no more wasted time. This is modern Excel at its best, and once you start using these, you'll never want to go back to the old way. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to keep learning more modern Excel tricks with me, hit that subscribe button so we can keep exploring together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.